Hello everyone, today we're going to discuss how to copy data from one machine to another using the RTA technology that's created in GS RichCopy 360 Enterprise. Basically, GS RichCopy 360 Enterprise comes with two installation packages. One that's the client, which is the GS RichCopy 360 Enterprise, and then the RTA agent. The client goes where the source is. So preferably local to the source would be best, like the C drive, the D drive, and so forth. However, if this is a NAS device, then the client should be installed on where the client, closer to where the source is. The RTA, which is another installation folder, it comes in the same zip file. It gets installed on where the destination is going to be. In this example today, we're going to go ahead and go through an RTA job. So we have two machines. We have DC, which is going to act as our source, and then we have W2022, which is going to act as our destination. We've gone ahead and installed the client already and installed the RTA on the destination. Now to create a TCP RTA job, you just basically right-click anywhere and say create a new job. And you're going to skip the wizard because it's a TCP copy job. Here we give the job a name, so we'll just call it test RTA. Now it's going to ask for your source, which is where you want to copy from. You can always copy and paste it from Windows Explorer. You can browse it. You could use a UNC path if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and say copy as root folder. This way we create this destination folder on the destination. Now when it comes to destination type, we're not going to select local network disk. We're going to go ahead and click on the drop down and select TCP RTA. Now once we select that, it's going to go ahead and ask us to configure remote transfer agent. So we're going to go ahead and then here we can specify either the FQDN, the short name, or the IP address of the destination. In this case, I'm just going to put in the machine name, the NetBIOS name. By default, we use port 8008 TCP. However, this is configurable. You could switch it to something else. Block size, keep it at dynamic, best recommended. If you want to enable byte level replication, you could check that box, and that will basically, if you have a large file that has been modified, then what it will do is, and it's already been copied, but the destination copy is already outdated. So what it will do is it will compare the changes, and then whatever blocks that have not been changed or have been changed will be replicated. Only the deltas. Anything that's not changed will be skipped. This is okay to use if you're copying across WAN connections, slower links, so forth that way. But if it's on the local LAN, might not be needed as much depending on what it is. If you've got large PST files, for example, if you still use those, then you can do that. We would exclude files that are less than 15 megs. They will not be byte level replicated because from what we've seen is if it's anything under 15 megs, it will not be efficient. So, but you could change that depending on if you've got really slow links, you might be affected. By default, we do compress files while in transit. It does not go compress on the destination when it's at rest, but it's only during transit. You could use encryption if you want. You don't need certificates or anything of that nature. There is no penalty for using encryption. We basically, once this is encrypted, we offload it to the hardware. So in this example, we're not going to use encryption, but that means you could actually technically copy across the internet because it does use a single TCP port, and you just have to enable port forwarding on the destination to the RTA server. Now that we've installed RTA on the destination, we can click test. This basically tests that the communication is successful and it's on the same version that it needs to be and so forth. If it fails, check your firewalls. Okay, so now we've gone ahead and configured the RTA. Now we're going to go ahead and say every RTA job basically gets a job serial. If you click on this copy, it copies the job serial to your clipboard. Now we go to the destination. This is the RTA agent. Now we can right click here and say create a new job. It's a very simple, this is RTA job. Here we put in the job serial number we got from the clipboard from the source client. Now we can browse to where the destination is. So we're going to go ahead and click. I'm just going to copy under data. It's an empty folder. Click OK. If we add encryption, we will match the encryption keys. We'll go ahead and click Save. Now we've created the job here. Now this is, I'm going to go ahead and click so we can check the options we want. I would definitely go with, these are normally what's selected if you're going to go ahead and do a server migration or a NAS migration. You want to copy and TFS permissions, you select that. Now we can go ahead and use, how many threads do we want to use? I'm going to go with 4 threads. You could literally double threads, double the logical cores you've got. In this machine that I have, I've got 4 cores. I could do technically 8. I'll do 6. I don't want the job to finish too fast, just so you can get to see the progress and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Now I'm going to right click and click Start. So I'm going to start the job. Now in a second here we'll say queued. If you click on queued, it will show you the job progress screen. So the job's about to start. It found 5,000 files. It's not that big of a job, but you see that these are the different threads. We have 6 threads configured. We're getting 80, 100. Of course, it's going to fluctuate. 143 megabytes per second, depending on the file sizes and so forth. We've copied 5. The job is completed. Copied about 1.2 gigs. 5,000 files, but that's how the job completes, and that's how an RTA is. This is a great scenario to use RTA if you have millions of small files that you're trying to copy between 2 Windows servers, whether it's on the same network or further away, or if you're trying to copy it across WAN connections. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, reach out to support@gurusquad.com and let us know. Thanks. Have a good day.